Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Pop Dissected podcast. For this episode, I'm going to be talking about why I started Pop Dissected and how it all came about. So my first introduction to mainstream music was Katy Perry when she released Teenage Dream in 2010. From then on, she was really the primary artist I listened to. Before her, I really only listened to soundtracks and musicals, because I did musical theater throughout most of my schooling, elementary, middle school, and some of high school. So being able to have an individual artist that I identified with and I felt I understood and they understood me was a pretty big thing for me. And then slowly I started listening to other artists. I think Kesha was the next artist I really got into, and then Avril Lavigne, and then the duo Carmen, who is now rebranded as Queen Herbie, and she's amazing. You should definitely check her out. And then Taylor Swift. I think the moment when I felt I had stuff to say about music and comment about it and want to analyze it was because of Taylor Swift's Reputation era. She had so many secret messages and meanings and themes and concepts interwoven into her music videos and her lyrics. And I thought that was just so fascinating. It was so interesting to me. And I have several close friends who are really into Taylor Swift like I am. And I remember there was one day, this was the spring of 2019, I was texting back with one of my good friends and we were sending messages back and forth about Reputation and breaking down the album and what every song meant. And she just said to me, you need to start a YouTube channel. Like what you're saying to me right now, I think that is so interesting. I think other people could find value in that. And I never really considered starting a YouTube channel, but I did feel like I had a lot to say about that album in particular. And coincidentally enough, well, I guess it's not a coincidence, but my first video I ever posted was about analyzing Taylor Swift's Reputation, Part 1. So after she told me that, I was like, okay, I'll do that. I had no knowledge about how to create a YouTube channel, how to go about it, how the platform even worked as a content creator. So I think within a couple days, I slapped together a header, a profile icon, chose a name, and originally I wanted to be Pop Deconstructed, but I think there was a channel with that already, I'm not sure, but I settled on Dissected, and I think, it worked. But then I just took those texts that I sent to my friend and I put them in a Word document, a Google Doc, and kind of just scanned through it, went through it, organized all my thoughts, and I realized, oh my God, I have just written pages upon pages about Reputation. I can't make this into one video. I don't even know how to do all of that. So that's when I decided it would be a part 1. And I remember I just recorded me talking into my phone. I didn't really know anything about audio quality. You watch that video and it's completely different from how I make videos now, obviously. And, I didn't know anything about copyright rules. So, I used music videos by Taylor Swift. I used her music in it. Actually, I uploaded that video 7 or 8 different times because it kept getting blocked because of all the copyrighted content. And I remember I had class one day. It was a Wednesday, and I was trying to get the video uploaded before class because I was living in my campus's dorms at the time, and the Wi-Fi was not meant for uploading 25-minute YouTube videos. And I brought my computer to class and just prayed it would upload. I remember it finally uploaded towards the end of class, and I was like, wow, I just started a YouTube channel. And, I posted here and there, and my Katy Perry Witness video is really the video that I think, it's my biggest video on this channel, obviously, but that was the one that I think I was most excited to make in the beginning, and I think that was something that gave me purpose to continue making my YouTube channel. Because as a huge fan of Katy Perry, it's weird, I would have people and friends say stuff to me about her like, oh, Witness sucked, like her haircut's so ugly, that was such a bad album, just really nasty stuff to me. And I know it was teasing, but when you look up to someone so much and they're literally your role model and have impacted you so greatly, it's like, why would you say something like that to me, knowing that will hurt me? So making that Witness video, So making that witness video was really important to me. It wasn't necessarily, I think it was for me. I was like, you know what? People are saying this. Well, guess what? Here's what's actually going on. And that's why I put that out, and it became my biggest video. And, I don't really go through the comments on it because there's just so many comments, but I go through the top comments sometimes. I'm like, okay, people get it. They understand. And there are still people who are total assholes about it. But with my YouTube channel, I don't think anyone, when they start a YouTube channel, necessarily is like, oh, I'm going to be famous and I'm going to make millions of dollars and this and that. Obviously, I was like, I want people to watch this stuff. I think anyone thinks that, but it was definitely a hobby at first. It was like a pastime, like, oh, I'm going to make a video, this and that. I'm going to do some research and stuff. That was back in the day, but then towards the end of 2019, around October, November, my channel just exploded. And I credit it to my video, Nicki Minaj's Queen. I remember sitting in class and looking at the live stats of the video. I was like, holy crap, like this video is taking off. People are watching this. And then, somehow I posted like 10 videos in like a 2-week period or something. I don't know what I was on. I don't know how I managed to do that. That's so much of why, when 2020 began, I wasn't posting because I had burned myself out, and I think that's a challenge all the time. It's like, how do I keep consistent and like stay proud of my work and, engage with people without feeling like it's a chore? Because the last thing I want this to feel like is a chore, because I do enjoy doing it. I think people don't understand that I'm not a music expert, and I never claim to be. When people ask me to make videos on certain topics or certain artists, I have to research. I read interviews, I, watch interviews and stuff, and go on, chart websites and go through pages upon pages of stuff to find what's relevant to what people are wanting me to talk about. And I have to educate myself on that stuff because I don't know it. I don't know every artist that exists. I don't know their career inside and out. Probably the only artist I can make a video on without doing any research is Katy Perry, and I kind of believe that. For her Prism video, I hardly did any research. I do pull stuff, so when I'm talking about a specific quote or sales, you can see it on screen, but I find it kind of irritating at times that people say, oh, well, you should have known this, and you left out that, and this and that, and it makes me think like, okay, I'm not a stan of every single artist I make a video on. Just like, my viewers are learning about this subject or this artist, I'm learning too. I'm educating myself, and I do get stuff wrong. This past week, I literally watched all of my videos, and I was thinking, wow, I wish I changed that. I wish I said that differently. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, and nothing irritates me more than people saying, well, you need to do your research. You need to make sure that you know everything inside and out. And, I want to as well, but I can't possibly know every single nugget of information, especially when I do my best to keep videos streamlined. And I think one thing people don't understand when you talk about one album, why it succeeded or why it didn't do well, you have to give an introduction to it, like here are the steps that followed before to lead to this point, because when it comes to an artist, there is like a domino effect. It doesn't just happen. Like with Avril Lavigne's video, there was some comment that I got that was like, why are you like over explaining about it? I'm only this far in, you're still talking about this album instead of Goodbye Lullaby. If I talked just about Goodbye Lullaby, the video would be like 2 seconds long, So I think it's important people do take that into account. That I feel that is personally necessary. Because if you talk about an album just in isolation, there's no context. So I think that can make it, confusing. I try my best to keep it streamlined, but sometimes I have to go through a maze before I finally get to what the actual point is. And that's just how it is. But music is something I'm definitely very, very passionate about, and that's what kind of motivates me to keep my channel going, and also the fact that I get to connect with so many incredible people. I talk to people on Twitter, mainly Instagram. My DMs is where I communicate with people, and we share opinions, and people ask me questions, and I love it because, when I was younger, I was that guy that was like obsessed with Katy Perry or whatever. And I never felt like I could relate to anyone when it came to being passionate about music in the way I was. So to have, 30,000 plus people wanting to hear what I have to say and wanting me to do stuff for them and wanting to engage with them and talk, and it's incredible, and I love being able to do that, and I love learning more about music. I love learning about the industry, and I want to share that, with other people. I think one of my favorite things is when people leave comments talking about how an album or a song helped them and why it's important to them, and they say, thank you so much for making this video, this is how this artist or era is important to me. And comments like that just make me think, oh my God, like, I didn't realize content like this could connect to people so deeply and be so important. But seeing stuff like that, it makes it worth it, because, I get frustrated making videos. It's like, oh, I have to sit at the computer, I have to do research, I have to edit it, I have to record it. And no, yes, it's like a first world problem at the end of the day. But, it can be challenging. You can get burnt out. But knowing that my content, I guess, can offer something to people makes me really happy. And I know in the future there will probably be periods where I don't post for a while. I've definitely had issues keeping my channel consistent, but I always am trying my best, and I want everyone to know that. I'm in school right now. I still have a year left, so I do have other stuff I'm balancing all the time. It's crazy. But at the end of the day, I love that I get to do this, and it makes me happy. I feel like, in a way, it's kind of like part of my purpose being here on this earth, whatever that really means. But it's always great to know that people are listening and people want to hear, and that is something I always have to remind myself. I don't know if I'll ever stop making YouTube videos. That's never been a thought that's entered my mind. I think the fact that that's never entered my mind means, I'm probably not going to. New music is always coming out. There's always someone to talk about. There's always something happening. But yeah, I basically made Pop Dissected to share my own thoughts I had about a Taylor Swift record and Katy Perry, and this is where I am now. About 2 years later. I've had this channel for about 2 years, which is insane to think. Time really does go by fast, and I hope that in 2 more years, not even that, a year, 6 months, 2 months, 1 month tomorrow, I'm still here doing this because I care about it, and I absolutely care about every single person that watches these videos and wants to engage in conversation and offers their support, because I always want to try and offer it back. You see me responding to as many comments as possible. I want to acknowledge people. I want people to feel appreciated. That's so important to me. Which is why with videos about why an artist didn't do well in a certain era, I always say, hey, like, they worked hard. There were other things that happened, they went through this, but they're still talented. They're still important, and they can still be important to you, because I never want to discredit an artist's success. I never want to discredit what an artist means to someone, because that's happened to me before. And I know I've probably said incorrect things in videos before and mispronounced names. That's kind of my forte. But I always try my best, and I always will do my best. I'll still make mistakes, but hey, we're only human. So with that, I think that this episode is coming to a close. Thank you so much for listening.